Welcome everybody to the 2026 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Assembly.
We ask you all to please rise for the Black National Anthem, and we're going to put the lyrics up here, so please join us and sing.
And now can we please give a warm welcome to Mariah Christmas.
Hello, I'm just going to give the land acknowledgement. I would like to formally recognize and respect Indigenous peoples as traditional stewards of this land and the enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous peoples and their traditional territories. I do this to recognize that the land is an expression of gratitude and appreciation to those whose territory we reside on, and a way of honoring the Indigenous peoples who have been living and working on the land from time immemorial. It is important to understand the long-standing history that has brought all of us to reside on this land, and to seek to understand our place within that history. We need to emphasize the importance of this land acknowledgement because we are all on Indigenous soil. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this territory, and we honor and respect the many diverse individual peoples still connected to this land on which we gather. Land acknowledgements do not exist in past tense or historical context. Colonialism is a current ongoing issue, and we need to build our mindfulness of our present participation. It is also worth noting that acknowledging the land is Indigenous protocol. So now, please give a warm welcome to Lotana Onwemeza.
Welcome, IMSA, and thank you for all being here. Today isn't just a day when we have a shortened schedule or follow our regular routine. It is a day of reflection, a day I'm reminded of the core of humanity, the sacrifices and the excellences that emerges when communities are determined to rise. That is what Dr. Martin Luther King represents. We are gathered here today to celebrate his legacy, but also to honor black and brown excellence and the strength, talent, and leadership that push our communities forward. Yes, we will have fun at this Martin Luther Day assembly, but more importantly, I challenge us all to leave here tonight reflecting on how our actions align with what Dr. King fought for. Not just today, but every day. Let's carry a constant reminder through our journeys, asking ourselves how his sacrifices rooted in humility, courage, and truth have shaped who we are and who we choose to become. Black and brown excellence is not just something we celebrate. It is something we live throughout purpose, integrity, and impact. Dr. King didn't only speak, he acted. In 1955, after Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus, Dr. King became one of the leaders of the Montgomery bus boycott. Black citizens refused to ride city buses and chose to walk miles to work and school. This was excellence in action built on discipline, patience, unity, and a belief on what was right. Eventually, their efforts led to the desegregation of buses and showed the country that nonviolent action led by black communities could create real change. Over the years, Dr. King continued to lead with courage and excellence. He helped organize the Birmingham campaign, where he was arrested and later wrote a letter from Birmingham jail, explaining why waiting for justice was no longer acceptable. He played a huge role in organizing the March on Washington, where he delivered the famous "I Have a Dream" speech that we all know today. His leadership helped push forward the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Day after day, Dr. King would put himself at risk, not for his own gain, but to secure a better future for us. So let's take a pause and reflect. Are we contributing to the community we desire? The commitment to justice and equality starts with all of us. Here at IMSA, in self-reflection, let's ask, are we contributing to building a community of love, a community of inclusivity, a community that recognizes and uplifts black and brown excellence, where everyone can feel seen, valued, and a true sense of belonging? We can continue the ideals of equality and freedom Dr. King fought for by being our brother's keeper and by striving for excellence, not only academically, but morally and socially as well. Let us come together in unity to commit to building a community of love. And as Dr. King always emphasized, the time is always ripe to do right. To everyone here today, the time is now. Thank you. And now can we please give a warm welcoming to Elena Velarde.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, as we come together to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we are not just remembering history, we are being asked to think about our role in shaping the future. Dr. King once said that every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, struggle, and suffering. His dream was not meant to stay in the past, it was meant to be carried forward by future generations, including us. Here at IMSA, one group that continues this work is the Brotherhood-Sister Circle, also known as BHSC. Many of you may have heard of us, seen our events, or participated in them. Today, I want to explain what BHSC really is, why it exists, and how it connects directly to Dr. King's legacy. BHSC is more than just a club. It is a community and a support system for Black and brown students. It is a place where we uplift each other, push each other to succeed, and make sure no one feels alone. We believe that excellence is not just about grades or awards. It is about confidence, resilience, and being able to show up as your full self. BHSC exists because representation and belonging matter. Students of color at IMSA experience unique pressures and challenges that are not always talked about. BHSC gives us space to talk honestly, to feel understood, and to grow without feeling like we need to change who we are to fit in. We meet, we listen, and we lead. One example of this is our meet and greet with Black and brown staff. When students walk into that space and see adults who look like them and share similar experiences, it makes successes feel real and possible. It reminds them that they are not alone and that their goals are achievable. We also hosted Race Talks, where students can have open conversations about identity, race, and community. These conversations are not always easy, but they are important. They help students feel heard, validate lived experiences, and we encourage understanding across the IMSA community. We are not just talking about problems, we are working towards solutions. In this way, BHSC is living out Dr. King's dream. Dr. King believed in a world where Black and brown people could thrive without having to apologize for who they are. He believed in community, support, and young people stepping into leadership. BHSC continues that vision by creating spaces where students are supported, empowered, and encouraged to lead with confidence. Dr. King also said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. BHSC reflects that idea. Our excellence is not just individual, it is collective. We look out for each other. We uplift classmates who may be struggling quietly. We show up for one another. We strive for Black and brown excellence in every way, academically, socially, emotionally, and culturally. Our excellence comes from being authentic, from supporting each other, and from refusing to let challenges define us. It shows in our leadership and in our willingness to take up space and speak out. As we honor Dr. King today, we also have to remember that the work is not finished. His legacy should not only live on through a holiday, it requires action. That means uplifting voices, not just tolerating them. That means addressing inequity, not ignoring it. That means continuing to build spaces like BHSC where students can grow and thrive. To the students of color here today, I want you to know this. You belong here, your story matters, your excellence is real. You do not have to walk this journey alone. BHSC exists because of you and for you. And to everyone else, whether you identify as Black or brown, I invite you to support this mission. Support spaces where marginalized groups can succeed. Listen, learn, and advocate. Inclusion is not just one group's responsibility, it belongs to all of us. Dr. King did not give his life for comfort, he gave it for change. That change is ongoing. When we support one another, speak up, and create spaces for belonging, we carry his legacy forward. So today, let us recommit to that work. Let us honor Dr. King not only by remembering his words, but by living them. Let us build a community where unity is practiced every day and where Black and brown excellence is supported all year long. Thank you, and let us continue the dream together. And now let's give a warm welcome to Ashton Elmore.
Hi all. I am honored to introduce All It Takes Is a Dream, written by Darrell McGee. This story centers on a young boy who is at his wit's end thinking of what to write about for his history class essay. When he thinks about a world without Black and brown people, he asks his mom about what the world would look like, but she doesn't have all the answers. So just before he goes to sleep, he wishes that he knew what all of the Black and the brown people have created. During his sleep, he dreams of meeting Black and brown inventors and scientists, and they inform him about everyday items that were created. As he wakes from his dream, he is motivated to research and write about Black and brown inventors and scientists for his essay. Brotherhood-Sister Circle and Poetic Justice invite you to enjoy and take in this play and learn about powerful Black and brown inventors from our past. Thank you.
It was a late night on Friday. A little boy named Raul was sitting in his room thinking about what he should write for his history essay. He had no clue where to start. Then a thought came to his mind. What if there were no Black or brown people? So he went over to ask his mom.
Mom, what if there were no Black or brown people?
Well, first, you or me wouldn't be here.
What do you mean, Mom?
Did you know that people originated in Africa with evidence pointing back to modern humans, also known as Homo sapiens, emerging around 200,000 to 300,000 years ago?
No, I didn't know that. But what about all the things that Black and brown people have created?
I'm pretty sure Black and brown people have created many things.
And as the clock struck 11:11 p.m., the boy said,
I wish I knew all the things that Black and brown people have created.
Okay, it's far past your bedtime. Let's head to bed.
So the boy went to bed and fell asleep. As he lay there, a dream came, speaking to him like a bee to a flower. As he seemingly got up from bed, he went to turn on the TV. As he clicked the screen, a man appeared.
Who are you? How did you get here?
Hi, Raul. I'm Mexican engineer Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I see you're about to turn on the TV there. Did you know that I patented the chromoscopic adapter, which allowed for color broadcasting in the late 1940s?
So you created color TV?
Yeah, I sure did. I gotta go now.
And the man drifted away out of Raul's mind. So he went on to find more discoveries. Raul went to turn the light on to brighten the dark room. As he did so, someone else appeared.
Who are you?
I'm Louis Latimer, an African-American inventor.
Let me guess, you also invented something cool.
Well, if you think light bulbs are cool.
Wait, I know I'm not crazy, but didn't Thomas Edison invented the light bulb?
Thomas Edison is usually credited with the invention of light bulbs, but I'm the reason why it shines so bright.
Wow, that's so cool.
All right, I have to go now.
And so another one leaves as Raul continues the day.
I should order a pizza. I'm a little hungry.
As Raul dials a number, someone appears out of nowhere.
Let me guess, you must have invented pizza.
No, I'm actually the reason you're able to make phone calls.
Wait, what do you mean? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, an African-American physicist. I created the touch-tone telephone caller identification and other things, like the portable fax machine.
Wow, that's so cool. Where did you go to school to?
Well, I'm the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in physics from MIT.
Making history and statements.
Well, I have to get going. Farewell.
Yay, pizza!
Raul enjoyed his pizza after it arrived. He then decided to take a nap right after.
It's getting a little cold in here. Let me turn the heat on so I can take a nap.
And as the little boy reached to turn the furnace on, a lady appeared.
Let me guess, you must have invented pizza. Thank you for such a delicious meal.
Although it's very delicious, I didn't create pizza.
Wait, so what did you create?
I'm Alice H. Parker, an African-American inventor, and I created the heating furnace.
Wow, you're the reason why so many families have warm homes during these times.
Yeah, that's me, but I'm running late for something. We'll see you.
See ya.
Just before Raul went back to bed, he went to check his phone to see how cold it was outside. As he pulled up the forecast, someone else appeared.
Okay. Let me guess. You must have invented the weather.
I sure did.
Wait, really?
No, but I'm part of the reason you're able to check the weather.
Wait, what do you mean?
Let me introduce myself. I'm Olga D. Gonzalez Sanabria, and I helped create the long life cycle nitrogen batteries, which are used in satellites.
What does that have to do with the weather?
Well, satellites are essential for relying signals around the globe, mapping our world, monitoring climate change, and tracking resources like the weather and climate forecasting.
Wow, it's so interesting how much goes into maintaining our world.
Sorry, I gotta go.
So as the final person left, Raul took that nap. And as he woke up, he wasn't dreaming anymore.
I think I know what to write my essay about now.
So the boy went on to do his own research on black and brown inventors and wrote an essay that got him 100. And we encourage you all to do the same as well. Thank you. And now for our Excellence Panel introduction, William Pilcher and Abigail Holgain.
Now introducing the alumni panel. Meet Dr. Kayla S. Ingram. Dr. Ingram is a postdoctoral fellow at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, where she investigates the molecular mechanisms of therapy resistance in breast cancer with a focus on equity in women's health. Please welcome Dr. Kayla Ingram. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Tavis Reed. Dr. Reed is a postdoctoral researcher at Princeton Precision Health and Princeton University, where he develops computational and experimental methods to study protein and investigate how diseases disrupt cellular systems. Please meet Dr. Reed.
Now introducing Dr. Stephanie Guzman. Dr. Stephanie Guzman is an infectious disease scientist whose work bridges molecular virology, genomics, and population-level epidemiology. She earned her PhD and MPH through Northwestern University's Dry-Scale Graduate Program. She conducted research on emerging viral pathogens. Let's give a round of applause to Dr. Stephanie Guzman. Now I'm going to be introducing our last panelist, Mr. Jason Barraza. Jason Barraza is the COO of Security Token Market, where he oversees operation and drives initiatives to improve data transparency and media coverage in the tokenized securities space. He also serves as an institutional lead at Security Token Advisors, guiding issuers through the tokenized process, advising major financial institutions on digital asset strategy. Let's give a round of applause to last panelist, Mr. Jason Barraza.
I love science because the facts aren't known yet. 1 + 1 always equals 2, but for science, you don't know what the answer is going to be. So I did research into cellulosic ethanol. The current processes that are used are usually expensive or complex, so I want to really reduce that and make it really simple and straightforward. So I basically I did research into bacteria that could live in the same environments. So I found 2 bacteria that could live in the same environment and then produce ethanol and break down cellulose. And so in total, I was able to reduce the cost of creating ethanol by 650% and the cost of feedstock specifically by 14,300%.
I'm interested in STEM for many various reasons. One would be to please my family in knowing that it's possible to exceed in life and just get my family out of a poor community and I can also provide more for my family than what I'm receiving. So it's just for a better experience later in life. And also because I saw a video about Dr. Ben Carson, who is a neurosurgeon, and he's one of the best in the world, and that's what I want to do. He inspired me that the reason I want to be a neurosurgeon now is because I want to be able to save lives and help people in that way. I like to work for a hospital that they dedicate their time and money into research, but also just helping other families. And what I envision is I always see families that they want, for example, a surgery done and whatnot, but they don't have the resources to do so, or they don't have the money. And I just want to be able to provide them with that kind of help as well.
But I love a challenge, and science has never been my strong suit. So because I like a challenge so much, I feel like it's the route to go to tell people I am good, I can be better, and prove people wrong.
Now I'm introducing Luisa Salgado and Nerea Hurd.
All right, what a fantastic video. So after seeing this from approximately 10 years ago, what do you guys think you've accomplished since then?
I am currently a postdoc at Johns Hopkins. I do research in breast cancer disparities, and I also am an adjunct professor at Morgan State and Coppin State Universities, which are HBCUs in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, so I'm a postdoc at Princeton right now. So since that video, I guess I've gone on to get my PhD in quantitative and computational biology, and now I'm studying instead of cellulosic ethanol, protein-protein interactions during viral infection, and looking for new antivirals.
Can you hear me? Hi Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Stephanie. Thank you so much for inviting me to come. I'm currently a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Minnesota, where I'm still continuing to study infectious diseases. I try to study and see how the human body detects viruses. So the viruses that I look at are all of the mosquito-borne viruses, so Zika, chikungunya, dengue, so on and so forth.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason again. Thanks for having me as well. Clearly, I did not become a neurosurgeon, but I did pivot into finance. So I work with what we call tokenized assets. These are basically funds, private companies, stocks, right? Stuff like that, real estate that you can trade as if they were stocks. And the whole idea is that we're democratizing finance, that anyone can invest $100 instead of $100,000 into private assets that eventually appreciate over time. So that's a lot of what we do. It's essentially combining blockchain and crypto with traditional finance.
Okay, so now we're going to start off with Dr. Ingram. Can you please explain why equity in women's health is important to you?
Hello? Yes. I can. So I come from a matriarch, which is basically a family where the women run the family, okay? So it's hard when you come from a family of women who you believe are so strong, and watching them not receive the care they deserve when they are no longer as strong as they used to be. And so I I wanted to better understand, is this a genetic problem, or is this a environmental problem? Is this a problem of quality of care? Is this a problem of diet? And so I got into women's health equity because I wanted to identify what were the causes of disparate outcomes of Black women compared to white women in breast cancer or ovarian cancer or other gynecological cancers, and determine whether or not there are ways that we can mitigate those disparities.
Fantastic. All right, Dr. Reed, how did IMSA prepare you for your interdisciplinary research across science and biology?
Yeah, so I think IMSA really helped me by exposing me to so many different areas. So I took lots of biology and chemistry courses here. That was my main focus in science I was interested in. I think that really helped me understand that I was interested in many different aspects of science. And so then when I went to undergrad, I participated in lots of diverse undergrad research projects. So I did lithium-ion battery research. I did synthetic spice production. So it was really helpful in me exploring understanding my own curiosity in science and knowing that I didn't want to necessarily be siloed into a specific, one mainstream, biology or something like that, but I want to do something that mixed a lot of different fields. And so I think, IMSA was really helpful in understanding that I had that desire to really explore many different fields. Yeah.
Of course. Dr. Guzman, what should young scientists think about global health and equity?
That's a fantastic question. Thank you for asking. So when it comes to global health and equity, I think in the context of science and in the context of collaborating and working with people across the globe, something that's really important to recognize is how we not only respect each other, but how we go above and beyond and learn about people's traditions, people's values, what people hold in terms of their priorities. So something that, for example, we might have as a priority might not necessarily be a priority, across the globe. And so when doing research and when trying to focus on health equity, we have to do our own internal work prior to kind of establishing these networking opportunities and kind of valuing people as a whole and understanding that our lived experiences might not necessarily be the lived experiences of other folks.
Of course, that's a very interesting topic. All right, Mr. Jason Barraza, what inspired your transition from Wall Street to digital assets?
Great question. Yeah. So, after college, I joined a bank. I was working wealth management, traditional, right, getting my licenses, understanding how all that works. I was also helping out at security token market on the side. Just wanted to learn, what is this tokenization thing? And the more I realized this technology has the power to truly democratize finance, and with it, change how finance works. As we know here at IMSA, right, technology, science, it changes things, it's evolution, right? Things change and are meant to change. And it made sense. So I extrapolated, pretend all these assets really do make it on chain. It starts shifting the world a lot in the finance world. So it just made an easy decision for me to say, look, I understand this archaic system. It's been great, but things will be moving, and it's time to jump ship and go all in on digital assets. And 5 years later, we're in a great spot. A lot of people are now adopting this, and what people used to call us crazy, now they get it.
Wow, thank you for that answer. Another one for you. What's the most exciting or unexpected development you've seen in digital assets recently?
Great question. Actually, 2 days ago, the New York Stock Exchange finally announced that they're going to be supporting tokenized assets and the traditional ones, and they'll be able to trade with each other. So what does this mean? It means that institutions are jumping on board, regulators are jumping on board, and when you have that infrastructure in place, you now have the plumbing so that everyone else can benefit from this technology, but you need the plumbing there first. So this is something that our space has struggled with for years, and it's just great to finally see come to fruition, and this year's going to be a great one for momentum.
All right, thank you so much. Now back to you, Dr. Guzman. What's one misconception that people often have about infectious disease research?
Again, another fantastic question. So a common misconception with infectious disease research is that that research is only tied down to the science itself. So when it comes to studying different pathogens, different viruses, different bacteria, if we just focus on the science itself, it really doesn't give us a really big snapshot on what's occurring on a bigger scale. So if we really focus on community engagement, what is going on in the community, and how individuals perceive certain things, that will give you a more comprehensive view of what infectious research is and how viruses and different pathogens will impact our communities.
Thank you for that answer. Dr. Reed, how did your dual background in computer science and chemical engineering prepare you for your research in computational biology?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I originally started off from IMSA. I was really interested in chemistry more so. So I started off as a chemical engineering degree at WashU. But eventually I realized I also really enjoyed programming, so I took a second degree in computer science. And I think that really helped me do was to have this interdisciplinary nature between doing experimental stuff in the synthetic biology lab, but also understanding how things like AI and programming in general could really boost productivity in research and help us better understand and predict different phenomena. And so I think in computational biology, it really helped me stand out, both in terms of getting into grad school and then selecting a lab, but also for being able to sort of ask really interesting questions about that dealt with like large data at scale, both experimentally collecting these large scale data sets, like how do you physically do that efficiently, and then how do you, once you have all the data, analyze it thoroughly in a way that not only like you as a computer scientist can understand, but other researchers who don't have a computational background can also work for and benefit from this data.
All right, definitely. I know that I misunderstood some stuff about that too. All right, Dr. Ingram, what is one thing you wish students knew about building a career in biomedical science?
It's more than just the science, right? You go into the field knowing that the science is difficult, but you have to recognize that it's important to rely on the people around you, to be resourceful, to ask questions when you need help. It's not just about the science. It's about the people you work with. It's about the networks that you make along the way. It's really important to be able to ask questions when things are difficult and not just rely on your own perseverance.
Amazing. Good. Okay, this is going to be a question for all of you guys to answer. How did IMSA show your academic or career journey? How did IMSA show your academic or career journey?
IMSA taught me how to build that network. It taught me how to work with people. It taught me how to build a community of people to support you along the way. It also taught me how to advocate for myself. And so, yeah, that's what IMSA did for me, was the community.
Yeah, I think for me, what IMSA really helped with was building my confidence in science. So being able to like engage in research like through SIR and just in general at IMSA was really helpful in knowing that like if I can do it once in high school, I can continue to do it. I feel like science is so filled with so many moments of like failure where experiments don't work, or your code doesn't work, where things just feel like a disaster. But knowing that like you have the ability to push on and persevere and still succeed, I think that was something that I really learned at IMSA.
So something I remember very vividly is going into the science classes here at IMSA, and every time I had a question, I would get answered with another question. And I remember how frustrated I was in the beginning. Like, why can't you just tell me the answer? But I think at the end of the day, I really realized that that was a very important skill to have in sciences and specifically in research, because a lot of the times the questions that you end up asking end up with 10 more questions that you don't know the answer to, and you kind of build on that, and knowing that there's so much to be learned and so much unknown that you can rely on with your peers to kind of explore that was a very beautiful time, or a very beautiful experience for me at IMSA.
Yeah, for me it was a couple things. One was, as someone mentioned already, right, networking and whatnot. You learn how to collaborate with each other and work as a team. But the other thing that really helped me, at least on the business side, was Into. Into opened my senior year of IMSA, and I was one of the first interns, and that exposed me to a business setting, right? You start learning how to talk to people, carry yourself decently and whatnot, network, and not be afraid to approach someone that maybe already made it, right? You're not afraid to go ahead and ask questions. Why? Because they're more than willing to help, and you start getting over that fear the more you do it. I'll give the perfect example. Steve Chen, who donated for Into, was one of them that came to the opening. Who's Steve Chen, by the way? Does anyone know? He's an IMSA alum that co-founded YouTube. So, it's that repetition of understanding, great, you can talk to these people, and they're normal. They're just like you and I. And likewise, it also shapes me to want to give back as well.
Thank you. Those are all such wonderful responses.
Another question for all of you. What does a typical day look like in your career?
There is no typical day in entrepreneurship. Every day is a fire. There's always a fire to put out, which keeps it interesting. But no, it's really nice to have the flexibility to control my own schedule, which is nice. But typically, it just wake up. First thing I actually do is read the news. What's going on? This is a very fast-moving space, so I always want to stay informed, see what's going on. And then from there, it's partnerships. It can be sales, it could be legal, it could be a bunch of other problems that come up. But it's also fun to be able to work with my team. A lot of us are around the same age. Some of us went to college together, so it's flexible. But entrepreneurship is a fun ride. It's a wild ride. It's also, it's a roller coaster. It has its ups and it has its downs.
So in research, I think it really just comes in waves depending on what you are doing. Some days are very meticulous. You know what you're going to do, you know what experiments you're going to do, you know what endpoint you're going to do. There are other days where you're really relying on your colleagues and peers to kind of ask questions, whether that's scientific, technical, so on and so forth. There's also in the day-to-day a lot of mentorship that happens, a lot of informal mentorship that happens. So you get a lot of insight, not just professionally, but also, into the psyche of other lab mates. And I think the last aspect of research that goes into the day-to-day, well, I guess not every day, is kind of conferences and ability to network and share your science and share your findings and what you're excited about.
Me, I would say, so I do a mixture of experimental stuff, which means I'm in the wet lab some days, and some days I'm doing more pure computational stuff. So experimental days, right, it's mostly I go into the lab, I set up my experiments that might run for over the course of a couple of days. It's a lot of I would say technical work, but also a lot of the times that is done side by side with my lab mates. So a lot of times we're just chatting while we're doing, different pipetting stuff and different experiments, which I think is both, so there's still a social aspect that I really appreciate, but also that technical aspect. When I'm doing more computational stuff, I have a different office where I work in, where other people are also coding, and that also is very collaborative. So we're often talking about different things we're struggling with, right, and like how to get past this. I would say as I've gotten more senior, like now I'm a postdoc instead of a grad student, there's a lot more meetings as well, where we talk with like meetings with my PI, meeting within subgroups within the greater research group, where we talk about where projects are headed, where are the next steps, that kind of stuff, and then also like mentorship as well. So like mentoring younger students like first years, helping them understand what research are they actually interested in, how should they go about building out their research career. So I would say it's pretty variable, but I think I enjoy most about it is the social aspect of like working with my colleagues and getting to talk about science with them.
So yes, it's different every day, but when you have a lot going on, you have to run a tight schedule. So on Mondays, typically I am planning experiments, and then I will basically, I'm lucky enough to have other students working for me, so I will give some work for a graduate student or a master's student or undergraduate student to do for me throughout the week. And so we'll plan the experiments together, and then on Tuesdays and through Fridays, they'll basically run the experiments for me. And then on the rest of the week, I'm basically sort of making sure that the experiments run on schedule. And then in the evenings, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to Coppin State and I teach biology. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, I go to Morgan State and I teach genetics. And so, yes, when you do a lot of things, you have to run a tight schedule. And so I have to basically get help from other people. And throughout the week, we're also doing things like lab meetings, seminars. Sometimes we present our own research to other departments or in our department, and also go to a lot of conferences. So yes, it's a lot happening throughout the year.
Thank you for your answers. That's very interesting. Now for the last question. What advice would you give to IMSA students to prepare them for their future careers?
Learn how to advocate for yourself. It's really important to recognize when you need help. And so relying on co-mentors, not just your direct mentor, but co-mentors, sort of going back and forth with them about your ideas, planning experiments with them, not just relying on one person, but relying on, again, your community that is there to support you. So learning how to advocate for yourself is really important, because sometimes, going into a biomedical career, admittedly, it could feel like you're doing this on your own, but you're not. And so relying on those people who are there to help you is really important.
I would say it's important to have a vision for yourself of where you want to be in the future, but I think it's also important to allow yourself the flexibility to change that vision as needed, right? For me, I came out of IMSA really interested in chemistry, thought I was going to be a very hardcore chemical engineer, but that wasn't the path I ended up taking. I ended up really liking biology and really enjoying those sorts of courses and that sort of research, and so I moved in a different direction. And so I would say you need to think about your future, but don't let it be set in stone. Allow yourself the flexibility to find new things that you enjoy and then really pursue those.
I think one piece of advice that I would like to give you all is to be okay with being uncomfortable sometimes when you're trying something new. I think that this is a perfect opportunity and a perfect space to say, you know what, I haven't tried this yet. I don't know if I'm going to be good or not, but I just want to give it a go. And know that in the moments where you feel uncomfortable with trying new things, or you're scared about making that jump, that there are people around here and in the IMSA community, whether physically here or beyond, that would be willing to talk to you.
Yeah, a couple too. Along similar lines, right? I think for me it would be just get good at networking. Whether it's going to events, and in your respective field, it could be science, it could be business, it could be whatever you like. But go to networking events, meet people, shake some hands, and you never know who you're going to meet. It could be your next business partner, it could be someone that you're going to go to college with, and you're going to be, I don't know, study together. It could be anything really. But just be good at and comfortable with, again, approaching strangers, because you just never know who the right person is that you're going to come across that could change the trajectory of what your life or career is going to be. And the other thing I'll say is, I'm sure a lot of, if not all, are trying to go to college, right? And I would say college is actually a great time to experiment. Why? Because you could be a freshman, a sophomore, start a business if you have just a wild idea or an invention or an experiment, whatever you want to do. And if you screw it up, it's okay, because you're still a student and you were still in college. Nothing happened, but you gave it a shot. So that would be my other thing, is just go for it.
All right, those were all amazing pieces of advice, and I know that I'm going to be taking it into account. We'd like to thank our panel for being here to answer our questions. Can we get another round of applause?
And now can we please welcome Ana Ramirez as she introduces our keynote speaker, Alexis Thomas.
Alexis Thomas is a mission-driven and inclusive executive with a passion for business, strategy, leadership development, and social justice. She has spent several years as a CISO executive, and her commitment and experience have led to her speaking and training individuals as well as groups nationally. Throughout her career, she has trained thousands of people in the areas of leadership development, policy and advocacy, coalition building, strategy, and DEI. Alexis is also a national diversity trainer, facilitator, and keynote speaker. Alexis is a proud HBCU alum and holds degrees from Miles College, Indiana Wesleyan University, and Thurgood Marshall School of Law. As the president of the ARC Group, LLC, she brings a unique blend of tri-sector experience to her clients, not only meeting them where they are, but also seeing where there are opportunities for them to go, leading to internal and external impact. In addition, she's a respected executive coach working with clients in the nonprofit, education, and corporate sectors. She's an adjunct professor teaching the undergraduate and graduate students about policy, business, entrepreneurship, and other areas. She has served on and chaired several boards during her volunteer time. Alexis was recognized as one of the 30 top young professionals in the United States by the National Urban League as a hero in the movement, and was named an Indy's Best and Brightest under 40 finalist for her impact professionally and in her community. Alexis believes that if you have a pulse, then you have a purpose, so she strives to live out her purpose every day. Now please welcome Alexis Thomas with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. I'm going to try that one more time because it's more than me in the room. So good afternoon. Thank you. I appreciate that. You've come back from a break, so I want to make sure everyone is awake. First, I want to say thank you for inviting me to be here. Thank you to Dr. Coleman. Thank you to the staff and the students that helped put on this program and put a lot of energy into. So let's give them a round of applause. I was telling Dr. Coleman and I told Dr. Glasper that, I'm not used to this cold anymore. So I came back like the coldest weekend, I think, in Illinois, almost this wind chill factor. But I'm glad to be back here. It feels a little surreal to be back here at IMSA, a place where I used to walk the halls, a place that calls itself a home for discoverers, thinkers, innovators, and problem solvers. A place that believes learning never ends. The diverse perspectives and rich understanding that all people have equal intrinsic worth. Now, those are the beliefs on the website. But those are not just beliefs. Those are not just mere words. Those are responsibilities. So when I was a freshman in college, I went to HBCU, as the person that introduced me said, when I was a freshman, there was a requirement that we had to attend chapel. And believe me, there were plenty of mornings where I did not feel like getting up. But at the start of every chapel session, the chaplain, Reverend Beatty, would ask us two simple questions. He would say, "Why are you here? What do you hope to accomplish?" Now, as a college freshman, I can admit that I would sometimes roll my eyes, and I would think to myself, I'm here because it's required to be here. And I hope to get back to bed soon. And perhaps that is the answer that some of you have sitting in this room today. Perhaps you are here because IMSA said that you need to be here, or you're required to be here, and perhaps you want to leave soon, but we're already here. And I am not an 18-year-old college freshman anymore, and for the adults in the room, neither are you. So let's answer that question today. Why are we here? We are here today because this year marks the 40th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. being recognized as a national holiday. We are also here because we are celebrating the life, legacy, sacrifice, and excellence of Dr. King and the Black and brown ancestors, leaders, organizers, families, children, and community members from all identities and walks of life who stood alongside him in the ongoing fight for justice. We are here to talk about excellence, Black and brown excellence, and what it asks of all of us. See, Dr. King is often remembered for a dream, but he was far more than a dreamer. He was a strategist, an organizer, a disruptor of unjust systems. He led boycotts, he marched, he sat at lunch counters where he was not welcome. He was jailed, threatened, and ultimately killed for his work. Not because he was popular, but because he was effective. Dr. King understood that injustice is not just immoral, it is unstable. A society that denies dignity cannot thrive, and that is why his work still matters, because the work is not finished. Now, I know that this is a STEM school, a STEM place, and sometimes when we talk about race, equity, or excellence, people might say that's not data, or don't believe the data, or they only look at the parts of the data that bring them comfort instead of shining a light on reality. But let me be clear. History is data. It is evidence of what happens when brilliance is ignored and what happens when it is unleashed. Black and brown people have shaped this country through labor, invention, culture, science, and resistance. That excellence didn't begin here, and it doesn't end here. The data is in the legacy. The data is in the impact, and the data is in you. Just like the students that are sitting in these seats and also sit in the classroom, Dr. King's excellence showed through when he was a student at Morehouse College, an esteemed HBCU. While attending school at Morehouse, Dr. King wrote a paper, and he wrote a paper on the purpose of education. He wrote, "It seems to me that education has a twofold function to perform in the life of man and in society. The one is utility, and the other is culture. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." So when I read Dr. King's words, I got chills because Black excellence is like moving all through there. He knew and recognized as a college student at Morehouse what many people don't know today, that excellence can be denied, discounted, and attacked, but it still remains. The dream didn't end with Dr. King. It lives through people like Yolanda Renee King, his granddaughter. At 15 years old, she reminded the world that even small actions matter, that young voices matter, that peaceful courage still changes things. And she is proof that the dream is not behind us, it is standing right here. You see, the dream is not dead, it's still moving. It moves through the Black excellence of Bernice King, Dr. King's daughter, who keeps the fire burning for her father and his message and his legacy. It also moves through the brown excellence of Cesar Chavez, who fought for dignity and labor. It moves to the Black excellence of the great philosopher lyricist Kendrick Lamar, who uses art to tell the truth. And even it moves to the brown excellence of Bad Bunny, who reminds us that culture is resistance. So for the upcoming Bonito Bowl, it's a reminder that our communities don't disappear, they show up. At his Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, Dr. King shared something that he wanted everyone under the sound of his voice to hear, and that was about audacity. Now, we have a president who actually wrote a book about audacity as well. And in his speech, Dr. King said, "I have the audacity to believe that people everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, an education, and culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirits. I still believe that we shall overcome." You see, Dr. King believed that injustice can be dismantled, but not without courage, not without discipline, and not without risk. As he neared the end of his life, he began to speak more boldly about the 3 evils that he believed America had to confront. Those were racism, materialism, which ultimately leads to poverty, and militarism. Dr. King wanted to awaken the conscience of America. And today, I want to awaken the conscience of IMSA. I want to speak directly to the Black and brown students. This is for you. You need to hear this because your excellence is not the side note. So let me say this clearly. You are not here by accident. You are not here because someone felt generous. You are here because you earned it. And because generations before you paid a price to open doors that were once sealed shut. Your excellence is not an exception. It is an inheritance. It is the continuation of a path carved by ancestors who were denied access, denied dignity, denied freedom, but yet they still chose to fight, build, and believe anyway. You see, Black and brown excellence is not a slogan and it's not a hashtag. It is an inheritance and an obligation. It's rooted in ancestors who learned in secret when learning was forbidden. Those who worked the land that they would never own. Those who organized, marched, taught, healed, and resisted without any guarantees. And those who were denied safety, rest, and recognition, but yet they still refused erasure. Their excellence was not rewarded. It was necessary. And this is the excellence that you carry today. And to the staff and faculty of color that are in this room, I see you. I see the blessing and the weight of being a person of color inside this society, outside these walls and inside these walls. I see the labor of sometimes being the only one in rooms where your presence is necessary, but your comfort is not always guaranteed. Your presence matters. Your leadership matters. Your voice matters. And your excellence matters. So do not let the exhaustion convince you otherwise. Students, you see that Black and brown excellence is not just in the names of the people that I shared earlier, like Bernice King and Cesar Chavez and Kendrick Lamar and Bad Bunny. So you don't have to only look outside these walls. You can and should look right in here. Before you look outward, you should look inward. It moves to the excellence of Jacqueline Salinas, whose leadership helped grow the Promise program into a nationally recognized initiative serving thousands of students across the state of Illinois. It moves to the excellence of Willie Mays, your head of security, who creates safety, trust, and stability so your community can thrive even while you're sleeping. It moves to the excellence of Dr. Anita White, an HBCU-educated person just like Dr. King, whose advocacy and leadership have built lasting pathways in STEM for the culturally, linguistically, and economically diverse students. And it moves to the excellence of Minerva Ratsumi, a cornerstone of student life, whose presence and care make this campus a welcoming space where students feel seen and supported from the first day of school until matriculation. And it moves to the Black and brown excellence of each of this alumni on this panel today, who have literally and figuratively sat in the very seats that you are sitting now, who are living proof of what is possible. And to the allies in this room, both students and adults, you're not being blamed today, but rather you are being invited. Because justice is not built by one group alone. Your role is not to center yourself, but to stand where courage matters. That means speaking up in hallways, in group chats, in classrooms, in offices, in cabinet meetings, when silence feels easier than truth. Allyship is not a label. It is both a mindset and an action. To us all, Dr. King reminded us that progress isn't always fast or easy, but it is possible when we keep moving and when we move together collectively. So don't let the winds of doubt, comparison, or silence blow you off course. Imagine more that what you've been told is possible. Believe deeper than the world expects of you, and build not just for yourselves, but for the generations that are coming after you. History doesn't only live in books or monuments. It lives in bodies, habits, stories, gestures, and the ways of seeing the world. Every day we are guaranteed two things. That's a challenge and a choice. And you don't get to choose where the challenge comes. You only get to choose where you stand when it does. Because history doesn't remember who was comfortable. It remembers who actually stood up. So when the challenge comes, because it's coming, if it hasn't already, it's still coming, where will you stand? Dr. King also taught us that progress demands responsibility. Your charge is not comfort, your charge is courage. Our charge is not comfort, our charge is courage. He said that education has a twofold function: utility and culture. So don't let tradition, fear, or silence keep you from protecting the brilliance that is right in front of you. To the adults in this room that have the obligation, the requirement, and the honor to support the students that are here at EMSA, see these students fully, support them intentionally, and build systems where equity is real and not just promised. When the challenge comes, and it will, again and again and again, we will all be measured. Dr. King said that our true measure is revealed not in comfort, but in challenge. So again, to the Black and brown students in this room, because we're here about Black and brown excellence, you are not here because you are lucky. You are here because you are brilliant. You are here because you are resilient. You are here because you are powerful. You are here because the world needs your voice. And I want you to know something. You don't not need to shrink. You do not need to soften. You do not need to explain yourself. You are not required to make people feel comfortable. You are required to be true. Your brilliance is not a problem. Your brilliance is a gift. And I want you to carry this with you. You are not just living your life, you are living a legacy. And one day, just like the ancestors whose shoulders you stand on, that paved the way for you to be here, someone will stand on your shoulders. So stand tall, stand proud. You don't have to wait for permission to be excellent. Your excellence is already alive in you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexis, for that. Now for our performance of Stand Up by Fedora Noya and TJ Lucas.
Okay, y'all, we got one request. I know you guys all know this song. So when the chorus comes on, we need you guys to sing along with us. Can y'all do that for us? Okay.
walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got highs in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on, I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, I gotta start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters, you know I gotta make a mind. And I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone. And I just might fail, but I know I'll try. Shine stars fill up the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my
Hello, everyone. My name is Immaculate, and I'm the co-president of Poetic Justice, an organization under the advisement of the Office of DEI. And as we come to a closing, we want to take a moment to sincerely thank everyone who helped make today possible, including the Office of DEI, Brotherhood-Sister Circle, Poetic Justice, and of course the wonderful Dr. Coleman. We are incredibly grateful to our alumni who took the time to graciously join us for today's panel. Dr. Kayla Ingram, Dr. Tavis Reed, Dr. Estefani Guzman, and Mr. Jason Barraza, and our wonderful keynote speaker, Attorney Alexis Thomas. Thank you to Dr. Glazier and the entire AMSA community for showing up and being a part of this space with us today. And we hope that the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. continues to thrive and inspire you all. And now I'm gonna call up my people to the stage because they're gonna do a little performance for you guys. ITMC, can you cue the music for us, please? And yeah.
You're almost there. Don't mess this.
It's a cultural divide. I'ma get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
They get on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like boom. Once that on a beat, bro, deep boat in rap. He a freak though, man, damn, call that ambulance. Tell him breathe. Now them boys to the cross, they walk around like thieves. What's up with these Draconio? Trying to see Compton. In the street can hit me, bump them all in they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. Finna crash on his body, I'm John Stockton. What? Beat your and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score. Walking down the whole time, I know he got some hoe. It's the bully the fro. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better never go to cell block 1. To any that turn woman in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from me. They tell me Chubb's the only one to get your hand-me-downs. Party at the party playing with his nose now. But I got a real case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified. Rock, 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 rock. I'm on tough. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor.
They not like us.
No.
They not like us.
No.
They not like us.
What?
They not like us.
No.
They not like us.
No.